Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Getting My Uncle in Trouble and Causing Him to Lose Money? I left my church recently, and my dad keeps sending church members to my house to, quote, save me. Recently, a pair of church volunteers came over to talk to me. They offered me assistance with anything that I might need around the house, and they helped move some of my farm while we talked. We talked about where they were from. They're volunteering for 2 years from out of the country, what they plan on doing when they get home, how's my life going, and why I stopped believing. Well, the next week, one of them called me and said that they weren't sure if they believed when they left the country, and after our talk, they realized that they didn't believe and they wanted to return home. The problem was that their volunteer coordinator was holding on to their important documents so they wouldn't get misplaced. And one of those things were his passport. The coordinator said that he would only give it back after his 2 years were finished. He asked if I could get it back to him since the coordinator was my uncle. I spoke to my uncle, and he said that he knew that I was the one who corrupted him and basically told me to go kick rocks. I told him that I would call the police on him if he didn't give him back his passport, and he said that I didn't have the guts to do that, but a different word. So I called the police and they redirected me to the Australian embassy. My uncle was fined quite a hefty amount and told him that they had 3 days to return the passport or they would start to process charges against him for human trafficking. Word got around his church and now he's been released from his paid coordinator position. My family are saying that I went too far and that I only did this because he insulted me, and that they knew that he would give the volunteer back his documents eventually. That he has too many physical problems to get another job, and that I shouldn't have said anything. I'm starting to think that maybe what I did was wrong, and that I should have tried some other avenues before going straight to the police. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Now, usually I wouldn't recommend going to the police first as your first course of action,
Yeah.
but we're talking human trafficking here.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't say that they were going to charge your uncle with human trafficking for nothing. That isn't something that they were like, oh, hey, let's just make up charges here, right?
like holding someone's passport so they cannot leave the country. That is not okay. That is a perfectly good reason to call the police.
Yeah, because at that point in time, this is basically holding someone against their will.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have the choice to leave, and they may not even known who to turn to. So it was good that you were able to turn to somebody. And while they could have called the police on their own, they might have been hoping that you would be able to talk to your uncle and talk some sense into him without getting that escalation involved. And maybe your uncle should have realized that that was already an escalation. That
Mm-hmm.
the reason why you knew about this is because somebody wanted you to resolve this situation.
And your family being like, well, they would have given it back eventually. Eventually is not good enough.
Yeah, you don't hold and kidnap someone in country, right? Anyhow, take care and good luck and good job, OP. I think you did a good job. All right, and Bamf 1701 says, not the jerk, not all heroes have capes, and you, sir, are a hero. If your uncle could not get another job, then he should not have been breaking the law by illegally keeping those people's documents.
Mm-hmm.
Your uncle's predicament is not your fault, it's 100% his.
Mm-hmm.
And you saved those people who he was victimizing. Exactly. Could not have said it better myself. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for putting spider pictures all over the house so that my in-laws would stop calling everything a black widow? My wife's parents moved in with us last year. We'd seen maybe 2 or 3 spiders a year, and that was it. Now, after they moved in, to hear them talk, you would think that my house was in the middle of Mirkwood. It all started this past summer when my in-laws came in from my screened-in back porch and went on about seeing a black widow outside the screen. I go out there with jars in hand to put the black widow in my spider relocation program, and it was an orb weaver. 2 more times during the summer, they saw an orb weaver on the porch or on the tool shed and came to me to get it and saying that it was a black widow. My wife started to do the same thing. I told them what a black widow looks like and that they are rarely, if ever, seen in our area. Now that it's winter, there have been more spiders on the back porch because poor things want to be warm too. 1 or 2 of them got into my house. My mother-in-law has handed me a bag before and told me to be careful because she saw a black widow jump in it. It was a wolf spider. Last week, my father-in-law and wife asked me to get rid of the black widow under the sink. Another wolf spider. I've been pretty fed up with all of the false calls and dealing with the occasional outdoor spider and them acting like it's life or death. None of them are arachnophobic, so I printed out 2 sheets of paper. One had pics of the 3 most common spiders seen here, and I put, "If it looks like this, just let it chill. Do not call Spidercus," which is OP's name. The second sheet I put next to it had a blown up image of a black widow, and I highlighted the features and caption, "This is what a black widow looks like. You may proceed to call Spidercus. I put them all over the back porch, tool shed, and some in the closet and under the sink. My wife was not impressed and she took them all down. My wife got mad that I was insulting their intelligence and belittling her parents. I just wanted them to stop getting me for every single spider sighting that wasn't a danger, and since they never listened to the descriptions that I tried a different approach. So Reddit, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Like, maybe a little petty, but I can understand why you're so frustrated with them constantly crying Black Widow.
Black Widow, Black Widow, Black Widow.
Well, it would have been funnier if they were afraid of wolf spiders, because then you could say crying wolf spider.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, if it had been wolf spiders, this would have been a great
great
story.
pun opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and I mean, one important thing is I know they say they're not arachnophobic, but I do wonder if they're using the Black Widow as like a cover. Like, it could be they genuinely do not understand that not all spiders are Black Widows, but if they're this afraid, then there's probably some level of arachnophobia going on there, so...
Yeah, I imagine that they must be at least somewhat afraid of spiders, or that they just don't want to deal with them themselves, because if they're not... Yeah, I just don't see why this is such a big deal and why OP needs to come in and fix it if they're really just regular spiders that are non-poisonous. So I understand where your wife is coming from here, but also I understand where you're coming from, and I don't know that you were trying to insult anyone's intelligence, that you were just getting tired of being called out to do something that any one of them could have done or just ignored the spider.
And if your wife hasn't had problems with spiders before, why can't she be the spider relocator?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, give her that offer. Be like, okay, well, I'm tired of being the spider relocator, so why don't you take this over?
Yeah.
But I want to commend you for your spider relocation program.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy to hear that you relocate them instead of kill them. I relocate spiders instead of killing them.
And let them chill in our house. That's where most of them.
Yeah, we just throw them into a closet that we don't use. So, well, and I actually have a wolf spider story. So I'm in bed and I'm writing and I'm typing and it's dark, of course, right? And so I actually have a little keyboard that I can attach to my phone and I can type stuff. And so I'm sitting there and I feel something itch on my head and I reach up and I scratch my head and I feel something crawl and I like brush my head off and I like get the lights and there's a gigantic, it was like a quarter-sized wolf spider crawling on the bed and I like run out to the kitchen to grab a jar and I manage to find the wolf spider, grab it and throw it into a closet somewhere. But oh my goodness, that was not it was a bit startling, let me put it that way. I didn't get bit. I mean, wolf spiders generally don't bite you. Sometimes they can get really, really mad if they feel threatened. Like, I saw a wolf spider in our house once. I don't think it was the same one, but I captured it and it was just like practically spitting venom that it was so angry that we had caught it. So sometimes they can get really mad. That one I threw outside because it looked like it wanted to actually murder me. But the other one was just scared. It was running away. So, yeah, that's my spider story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got a tea right here, and we also have a special guest tea. And Amber's got jokes.
Why did the kid cross the playground?
The kid crossed the playground because there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex following after them, Amber. Of course, just as all kids cross the playground for that reason.
To get to the other slide.
I should have seen that one coming. And I have Earl Grey. But also, for our special guest tea, we have one that's actually very similar to yesterday's. It is called elderberry and enchanada,
Echinacea.
echinacea. And actually, I realized that I haven't been telling you actually what brand this is, and so the brand is actually it's mirrored for you, but it's Pukka Puka tea. So that's these ones were from a calendar that Amber got from her aunt, and so let's see how this is.
It's really not bad. It's very similar. It's very fruity like
Yeah,
yesterday's. I
yeah,
liked yesterday's a little better, but this
yeah.
is my second favorite so far.
Yeah, this one is not bad. This one, does this one have fennel in it?
I think it does.
I wouldn't have been able to tell that. I think that they did a good job of masking it. So it's actually a very good one. It's mild. It's flowery. It's more flowery than fruity. Like yesterday's was more fruity. But yeah, I actually like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a very enjoyable tea. And yeah, I can't taste the fennel, so that's a win-win
Yeah.
for everyone here. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's very special Wednesday Hump Day episode. What makes it special? It's on Hump Day. So, Amber, what is the moral of today's story?
Don't human traffic people.
Don't human traffic people. And also, spider relocation programs are the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And relocate all spiders so that when they come for you in the night, they don't eat you. I think that's our moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
So I called the police, and they redirected me to the Australian embassy, not the Austrian embassy. So I called the police, and they redirected me back to the not back. We didn't go back to the Austrian or Australian embassies here. Hi, folks. This is Brian. This is before the video. Our neighbor got a new dog, and apparently it just weed all over the ground or something like that. And I don't have any sympathy because that dog barked all day today, and I'm very upset by that.
Mm-hmm.
This is going into the bloopers. Everyone can watch the vindictive Brian at play. I've been pushed too far by the barking dogs.